So, it's back to a pocket full of stars. We are up to chapter 12 now, and I'm going to read us 5 chapters today to keep us going over Easter. But when we're done with our 5 chapters, we're done until after Easter. So, where we left this story last week, we're starting to find out a lot more about Saf's mum, but her life back in Kuwait when she was a child. And I think Saf is starting to come to terms more with the dreams now. Let's see how she gets on with them. The more I think about the dreams, the more I understand what's going on. They're all happening in Kuwait, in Mum's old house, and they're happening in the past. I know this because Mum's my age in them, but I only have these dreams in the hospital when I visit Mum. Recently, when I've been going to bed at night, my brain is like a blank canvas, like it saves up all its energy for the visits, but there's more to it. I think because these dreams might actually be real. The bracelet glowed, and so did the cats. And when I picked up the bracelet and followed the cats, it unlocked something in the dream. It reminds me a little of a cute scene in a game where you watch something that tells you what your next mission will be. But the thing about games is they have a bigger purpose, like saving the world. I just need to figure out what that is. And the only way to do that is to keep dreaming. "You sure you don't want me to come inside?" Dad asks, frowning. "You're not nervous or lonely?" It must be weird for Dad to see me do this alone. When I was a bit younger, I used to freak out if he left the room for too long. I suppose he can't pair that Safia with this one. I'm not sure I can either. I shake my head. "No," I say a little too quickly. I don't know how to explain that I'm not lonely at all, not when I'm exploring the house or watching Amina. "I like it," I add, "being alone with Mum. It's half true. I do like it, but I'm not exactly alone." Dad stares at me, long and hard, and then he nods. "I'll just nip and do the food shop and then pick you up, okay?" "Perfect," I sing. Dad's a bit more worried than usual since the doctors and nurses were acting strangely when we got to the hospital today. They said words like slow progress and monitoring in hushed whispers to Dad. I'm trying... could that be why the house was crumbling? Ooh, I hadn't thought of that. I'm trying not to think about that side of things too much. I've got enough to focus on. I follow the familiar path up to Mum's ward. Everything around me smells like lemon, so strong it's almost sickly. When I get to Mum's room, I take my usual seat by her bed. I lay my head next to her arm, just as I have done before. I shut my eyes and wait for the sleep to take me. I wait and wait. After several minutes, I sit up again. What's wrong? Everything's the same as it has been, so why am I not falling asleep? That's when I panic. I stand up and pace around, not sure what to do with myself. I leave the room and walk back in to start the ritual again, but nothing works. "Safia?" Amanda calls as she walks in. "Please go away," I think, so I can see my mum. "Hello," I say, instead not doing a very good job of sounding enthusiastic. Elle's always really good at this sort of thing, but not me. Thinking of Elle makes me feel like bitter medicine is seeping down my throat. All she talked about at school the day after we went to the bike shed was kissing Matty. But she never explained why she didn't tell me, her best friend, about it first. We've been plodding along this week like normal, but something feels a little off. We don't send each other as many messages as we used to. Elle just chats to the whole group instead, like I'm not enough anymore. "How are you holding up?" Amanda asks me, glancing at Mum briefly with a frown on her face. Usually Amanda's really cheerful, so this sudden change worries me. Is it to do with what the doctors were saying? It can't be all that bad, can it? Mum's only been in hospital a couple of weeks. I once had the flu for that long and had to stay off school for ages. But then Amanda turns back to me, all smiles again. "You know, we've had loads of people visit your mum." She leans forward, whispering conspiratorially. "She's our most popular patient on the ward." That's when I noticed them. All the cards lined up on the window next to Mum's bed, from people she's helped, friends from work, and the pottery class she sometimes goes to. Amanda squeezes in next to me to show me them, like it'll make me feel better. Like it doesn't remind me that Mum seems to be able to get along with everyone but me. I get a whiff of hospital standard lemon-scented soap as Amanda leans over me to show me each card. It's so strong that it makes me feel ill, but everyone here smells of it. Great, I say flatly. Say something else, Saf. But I can't think straight because I'm too busy imagining Amanda and all the other hospital staff dressed up in giant lemon costumes. Anyway, Amanda continues, I've been meaning to ask since you were thoughtful enough to bring in your mum's blanket and cushion. Does she have a favourite shampoo? I know it's an odd question, but I've been washing her hair this week, and I noticed it smelled so lovely when she came in, much nicer than the shampoo we have here. And it lasted for so long too, like magic. I wondered whether you would prefer we use that instead. It's common among our patients. She goes on for a while, and for some reason, alarm bells start ringing in my mind because she seems so concerned. Are you worried about Mum? I ask seriously. Amanda pauses, and then she paints a smile on her face in the brightest colours. I think it's good for us all to do everything we can to aid your mum's recovery. Familiar sounds and smells in particular can be helpful, which is why... I don't listen to the rest of her sentence, because I know what she means. She wants us to do what we can to help Mum wake up. I think for a moment about Amanda's words. Sounds and smells. All of a sudden, something in my mind clicks, and that's when I know what's missing. Because I noticed it every other time I had one of the strange dreams. I glanced at the clock. Dad won't be any longer than half an hour, maybe 45 minutes at most. Going already? Amanda asks as I stand. I'll be back, I answer, finally smiling at her. She blinks in surprise. I suppose you would if you'd been talking to a girl who barely said a word for about 10 minutes, and then suddenly started grinning at you like a maniac. Back at Mum's flat, I rush to her bedroom and straight for the perfume bottle. It's purple with glass cut like a diamond and a heart-shaped gold stopper. Something happens as soon as I pick it up. A flash of colour. I apply the perfume to my wrist and rub my forearms together. The smell wafts upwards and forms a cloud. In it, I can just about see Amina and Rowan, the girl from the secret hideaway, chatting together. But then, like an old memory I'm straining to remember, it fizzles out and I'm left alone in Mum's bedroom. I check the clock, half an hour left, and slip the perfume into my bag. When I get to the hospital for the second time today, there's a different nurse on duty, and she pretty much ignores me, which is a relief. I don't have much time. I pull the curtains shut and begin the ritual. Mum's body is laid flat, hands by her sides. Her hair is fanned out and wild like some sort of earth fairy. I smooth out her bed covers and pull a few strands of hair away from her face, for no particular reason other than it feels right. Then I pull the perfume from my pockets and untwist the stopper. I gather some of the musk in the little pipette and place a drop on either side of Mum's ears, then a third on her neck. I watch it slide down her throat and sink into her skin. I notice the woody smell first, then the rose. Each note of the perfume floats towards me like dandelion seeds in springtime. And finally the orange. It completes the scent, like ingredients in a potion. This time the transition is more intense, maybe because the perfume is fresh. I can feel grains of sand in my mouth. I can taste Kuwait. The room starts to disappear before my eyes, and the beeping of the monitor next to Mum's bed stops. Instead I hear Amina's voice, as if she was next to me now. And above it all I can feel a surge, like an electric shock, as it travels from Mum's body to mine. But I'm not quite sure what it is. Magic? Another trip to Kuwait, happening in the next chapter. And she discovered the formula. It's the perfume. It's being near her mother and her mother's scent that transports her. I wonder what we'll discover about Amina's childhood this time. Right, wait for chapter 13, coming soon.